And we're live again. That's how we do it. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the second Cannon Fire podcast live stream. Hopefully this one doesn't give us as much technical difficulties as last night's did. The night before. I'm losing track of time here. I'm just ready for week one. Welcome back to the Cannon Fire podcast on YouTube. This is a YouTube exclusive live stream, so go ahead and come on in. Make sure you leave a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and stay a while. We're going to be talking season predictions. I'm your host, Redicus, as always, joined by the best in the business, Mr. Bucs Football, Evan. Evan, you doing good today, man?
Yeah, man. How are you?
I'm doing A-okay. Just ready to talk some football. We'll talk some Bucs. We'll talk some of the news that has happened because we are at the tail end of the 53-man cut. I believe everything has been finalized, and all of the big names that are going to go have gone, and some trade news. I mean, unless you guys have been living under a rock, we'll come right out with it. The Bucs signed T.J. Ward. That was late last night, but it had to be finalized today. Things had to go through, and it was pretty much all but confirmed when J.J. Wilcox was sent to Pittsburgh for a 6th-round pick.
It was J.J. Wilcox and a 2019 7th-round pick are going to be heading to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's going to be giving the Bucs a 2018, which is going to be this year's draft, 6th-round pick.
Okay. Sounds good, man. And then we also cut down on the 53-man roster. All those have been finalized. Everything that's going to be done is done. A lot of people's favorite players have made the team, which is good. I really wanted Riley Below to make the team. He did get signed. Let me turn that off. He did get signed to the practice squad. Good stuff. But we're just giving you a run-up on news while people kind of come into the stream. And then we'll jump right into season predictions. But if you guys are coming in, welcome. If it hasn't been said yet, we are just getting things underway here, starting to get ready to go. Let me make sure I can pull up the live chat so I don't look like an asshat trying to figure out what people say 2 hours after they say them, because that's just the worst part of a stream, isn't it? Yeah. All right, so we're live right now. Let me turn my volume down. All right, so we're live right now, checking things out. Nobody in the chat just yet. That's all right. Wasn't as much hype on this one, but we are talking season predictions. Let's talk preseason really quick. Actually, we'll just give we'll run through preseason briefly. We'll give a little grade. We'll give a letter grade on the preseason. The Bucs did finish 1-3, so a negative record on the preseason. But Evan, if you could break down this preseason and kind of grade it, from what you saw, maybe certain areas that looked really good, certain areas that need improvement, what would you give this Bucs squad for the year?
I mean, well, we'll start now. I know, like, on the live stream, I may look like my skin color is like pink. It's just the lighting. I'm not actually pink.
It's just his natural skin tone. We won't say anything about it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Getting back to the Bucs, preseason, you can't really. I mean, obviously, a team can dominate in preseason and then come out in regular season and just suck. The 2008 Detroit Lions went 4-0 in the preseason and ended up not winning a game at all that year. So, really, it's tough to judge. I'd give the Bucs probably a B- in the preseason, because I think I'm going to give a B- because of what the offense looked like when everybody was there, and mainly week 2 versus Jacksonville was pretty much the healthiest the Bucs offense was all preseason. Everybody was playing. Jameis Winston, Deshaun Jackson, Doug Martin, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Adam Humphries, Cam Brate, O.J. Howard, Ali Marpet was playing, Kevin Panfield, the whole starting offensive line, and they look good. I'm going to give them a B-. I would have given them a B+ had some of the backups looked better. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Honestly, if Roberto Aguayo would have made it more of a competition, maybe I would have given him an even better grade rather than just one game and being done.
Poor Rob.
And there's a couple other ones, but I mean, not too obvious. But I think the progression of Jameis Winston, he's accurate now. He seems to want to check the ball down more, which is good. Obviously, he's still going to take chances, but He knows when to check the ball down, and I also honestly would have given him like a B plus or maybe even an A minus if the offense would have put more points up on the board. But that's it's preseason. Playbook is very simple. It's not complicated. They're not game planning at all. So overall, I think a B minus grade is pretty fair.
B minus for the whole team or just that one section?
The whole team, because I think the defense, while it looked good at times, I think sometimes the lack of defensive lineman depth really showed in the preseason because they were not getting much pressure at all. And I think that's something that the Bucs need to get in 2017. They need to get pressure on the quarterback.
And yeah, you had said that. I can agree with you there when it comes to the preseason. I think when we came up in situations where, first team offense had to come out onto the field and score, the first team offense did a really good job of coming out onto the field and scoring. I think there was maybe only 1 or 2 drives in total that they didn't put points on the board. And one of those wasn't even their fault because the kick was butchered. So the offense looked good. The offense looked needed to do. We showed a lot of depth at offense too. I have a lot of confidence in backup quarterback situation. Ryan Fitzpatrick, not that he had a stellar preseason, but I think he went out there and did what he had to do. He established himself as someone who can get the ball away, someone who can make quick decisions when he's not, taking the sack or anything like that. But one weak point that I can't agree with you on there is the presence of just a lack of pass rush. The pass rush was very questionable. And that could relate to, the lack of depth in D linemen that we had seen. But there would be games where D-line would come out. D-line would look great for 1 or 2 drives. We'd get a lot of really good pass rush, a lot of, forced incompletions. And other times they wouldn't show up and the team could go down. I believe they did it. I can't pinpoint which game, but there were other times, you had heard about it and you had read about it that D-line just really didn't show up to put pressure on the quarterback. So I like what you said there. I'll do a C+. Because the kicking situation kind of ruined it for me. Nick Folk, he did miss one. Sticks out to me is that Nick Folk missed one. Roberto Aguirre missed a few, but Nick Folk missed one. And I don't know, it bothered me. But he made all his kicks since then. Made that battle after Aguayo came out and shanked those few kicks. And everything else looked pretty solid, and I'm feeling really, really confident about the secondary now that TJ Ward has been signed on to the squad. So I'll go C+, B-. I'll meet you in the middle right there. But let me get my headphones plugged in actually really quick because I did not know that they weren't plugged in. And I need to make sure there isn't an echo. There we go. I'm sure that sounded absolutely pleasant on the stream. Just the clicking noise of the computer. But, guys, for those of you just joining, we are talking season predictions. We are going to go over those in just a few seconds here, actually. Let me pull it up. We'll go game by game. I'll pull up my half of the schedule, and then we will go one by one. So let me get the order of the schedule here. I know week 1 is Miami in Miami. That's a dub. I'll tell you about it in just 1 second while I pull up the rest of the schedule. But, Evan, how are you on week 1 of Miami, man? Go all in.
I think, like I said, I think it's going to be a really tough game, really close game. I think, me and my dad were talking about it today. We both think it's going to start off pretty sloppy because I asked my dad, I looked at the clock, and it was like 1:30 or so. No, week at this time, I said, they're going to be playing a game. I said, what do you think the score is going to be at this time? We were like, well, it's only going to be like halfway through the first quarter or so. I was like, yeah, it's going to be like 21-0 Bucs. And I was just joking, of course. But then we both agreed it would be like 0-0 because teams start off, to start off the season, it's going to be a bit sloppy. It's not going to be the cleanest of football. Starters, yes, they played in preseason. However, it is preseason. You don't game plan for that. You're not given 100% for that. And plus, even if the starters did play in the preseason, They didn't play in the fourth game, and they have a week off here. I mean, obviously they start practice, but they haven't played an actual game in close to 2 weeks. So it's going to be an adjustment for them. But I think it's a low-scoring game. I'm not really going to give scores. I'm going to say like low-scoring, high-scoring. I mean, like a medium score. However, I do think the Bucs are going to walk out of Miami with a win. I think they're going to do just enough to rattle Jay Cutler. I think Jameis Winston is going to do just enough to be able to put the Bucs in good situations to be able to capitalize and get points.
All right, so that's a Bucs W.
Yep, 1-0.
All right, 1-0 on the season. I can agree there. Bucs are going to go into Miami Hard Rock Stadium and they're going to take home the W. I also after the game, maybe not the whole game, way through the third quarter. We'll kind of see a lot of players just shifting to get back into that position they've played so many times before, but this time, the real deal. We'll see a lot of guys get again, running them against different playbooks and things like that. So it will be a little bit of an adjustment, a little bit of sloppy football here and there, maybe some penalties. It will be a close game, but I've said before I'd like to see it. I don't think we're going to go in there and we're going to dismember the Dolphins, but I would like to see the Bucs come out with maybe a 2-possession, a comfy win, a 10-point win, maybe something on the last drive that we've seen so many times before, where the team can snag it on the last drive and that'll take it home and take us back to week 2. So, and you would like to say that is both a win for week 1, the Bucs 1-0 right now. Week 2, the Buccaneers face off against the Chicago Bears in the home opener at Raymond James Stadium. It'll be on Fox Sunday, September 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I can tell you right now, this is going to be an easy game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If we do not win this game, there's going to have some serious explaining to do from everyone on the team. First things first, this offense is going to come out, and if they win in Miami, this offense is going to come out fired up off of a win and looking to put on a show for the fans in Tampa. Offense really hasn't shown anything too flashy in the preseason. Nothing huge out of the starters, no giant plays. Not that you expect to see those in preseason, but this Bears defense really hasn't been anything to write home about in a very long time. I think Jameis Winston and the new weapons, this is going to be the perfect ability to figure out how everything works, especially back at home week 2 in Ray J. And Mitch Trubisky, this is, if he gets the start week 2, this is going to be one of the toughest secondaries he's going to face all season. Now with the addition of TJ Ward at the safety position, it's going to be tough for him to figure out a way to throw past these guys, especially you look at the linebacker core, Quan Alexander, Levante David. Everyone's looking to be in the right place at the right time to get those big stops. Run threat that Chicago brings to the table. So, again, I see this as a W in Raymond James to open up the season 2-0. How about you, Evan?
Yeah, I see this as a win. I do think that it's going to be very similar to the Bears game last season. I think both teams, I think the Bucs are going to start off slow, and then I think something's going to happen late first, that's going to jumpstart the Bucs, and there's going to glide smooth victory where they won't really they'll be up probably 10 points in most of the game. However, I do think it'll be a closer game than it was last year because I do feel Chicago is a bit improved. I think it'll probably be about a 14-point game, not a 26-point game like it was last season. Probably a 10 or 14-point game. But then I think the Bucs ultimately walk out with a win. I'm going to make a prediction here. This is going to be the game where Deshaun Jackson and O.J. Howard both get their first touchdowns as Bucs. Just going to make a quick prediction there. I just got a feeling that the Bears linebackers won't be able to match up with O.J. Howard, and the Bears secondary won't be able to match up with Deshaun Jackson. And Cameron Brate gave the Bears a lot of fits last season. I think that O.J. Howard could do the same. On the defensive side of the ball, I believe that Mike Glennon is going to get the start. So basically, it's his return to Tampa. All he does is check down the ball, honestly. He's a good quarterback, but I
He
feel
can
the
take some
Bucs
hits, let me
defense.
tell you. He'll take some hits.
Yeah. Well, the offensive line was not pretty in 2013 or 14, and he was able to hang in there. And I just Glennon's a good quarterback, but he's not a quarterback that makes a bad team good. He's not that kind of quarterback, and quite frankly, I just don't think he'll do enough. Bucs defense might get a pick or two out of him. I only say a pick or two, maybe even none, because he does protect the ball. That's why he checks down so much. He doesn't really throw many interceptions, but every now and then he makes a boneheaded play. So I think the Bucs do walk out with a win and start off 2-0.
All right, 2-0 for both of us here on the Bucs season so far. Really quick in the live chat, Douglas Herrick. What's going on, Doug? This is actually really quick, just a side note, Evan. We got to get Doug on the show here sometime. He's a good buddy of mine from back in the day, but he's very smart on Bucs football. And even if we wanted to do another show just to have, once we start working into the regular season, we should get that going. But Doug is asking, how will TJ Ward fit into the Bucs defense?
I think TJ is probably going to play more of a strong safety type. I think that his tackling skills is better than his coverage skills. So I definitely think they want him playing more of a strong and have Keith Tandy at the free safety spot, especially because Keith Tandy has more experience, obviously, in the defense. I hope he can play this weekend in Miami. I hope he's able to grasp some of the defense. I hope that him being a veteran and stuff, I hope that he's seen some of it and he's able to get enough of it to where he can play. I wouldn't be surprised if he couldn't, but I'd like to see him play. It wouldn't really change much because before the TJ Ward signing, Chris Conte and Keith Tandy were the projected starters anyway. So if Ward can't go, it would be those two anyway. So I think it'll be a good fit. Like I said, he's a good tackler. Okay in coverage. He's starting to decline a bit, at 30. His best years are probably behind him, but he's still a very good football player. And the Bucs, let's just say the Bucs defense got better with this move. Actually, a little fun fact. Not really a fun fact, but I was just about to. It was 12:30 or whatever last night. I was just getting ready to go to bed. Like, I had my bed ready and everything, just about to hop into bed. And then I check Instagram one more time, and I'm in a couple of Bucs fan DM chats, and they're freaking out. And I'm like, what? I was like, what is this? Then I go on Twitter, and I see James Palmer's tweet, and I was like, oh, my God. So, okay, I didn't go to sleep until about 1:45. Was trying to go to sleep around 12:30. Didn't go to sleep until 1:45 because I had to, just about to go to sleep, and I had to post that, TJ Ward signed, and then everybody was asking me questions and stuff. I was like, man, I'm never going to get to sleep. But anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on Ward. I think it'll be a good fit. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say on that.
So Ward should be a pretty good fit on that Bucs secondary. There's something about the Bucs in signing experienced guys, but I mean that's all we need in the world right now because you have no idea how many times I've heard young team when talking about the Bucs. If I had $1 for every time an analyst said a young team, a young fired up team, I'd be able to buy the whole damn franchise. So moving on into our weekly predictions, we're pushing on to week 3 so far, 2-0 for both me and Evan on the Bucs going this year. But we are taking a look at week 3. Tampa Bay travels to Minnesota to take on the Vikings, and that is going to be a 1 o'clock game also on Fox, the 24th of September. Evan, I'll throw it to you, man. Who do you have in this game? Because I have an idea, but it's not as confident as week 1 or 2.
Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of Bucs fans seem to think that this team is going to beat Miami week 1 and is going to beat Chicago week 2. However, Minnesota and being on the road, tough team. Minnesota's probably, out of those 3, I think Minnesota's the best team. And Miami being a close second, but I think Minnesota is the best team. And the Bucs would lose. I don't see it that way in the game. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. I'm going to give like a sort of a prediction. Right now, I'm going like 16-10 Bucs. Like,
how are those touchdowns? How are those points going to get on the board?
well, I mean, there will be one touchdown and just a whole bunch of field goals. Like Nick Folk is probably going to win NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Because you got one touchdown for 7, and then field goal 10, field goal 13, field goal 16. I think if Nick Folk makes all of his kicks, and that game is going to rely on Nick Folk, I believe, and if he makes all of his kicks, I think the Bucs are going to win the game.
I agree with you fully when it comes down to the low-scoring game. The only thing that keeps me in question about this game in particular is because it's week 3, and we have to see how rookie Dalvin Cook has proven himself. I don't think he's going to come out and be a star-studded force that Ezekiel Elliott was, but we never know. But we're going to look to come out and see how Dalvin Cook is, not only because he's on my fantasy team, but if he is a monster and the 2 teams before Minnesota can't seem to stop him, that's a concern of mine, is when it comes down to that tackling. We still had issues in the preseason with open field tackling, one-on-one tackling. We have all of these players in the right spot at the right time that can't get the job done. Riley Below, on the other hand, though, he's kind of the opposite of that. I think he's a very good tackler. I'm not saying he's going to bring down Dalvin Cook one-on-one and be the star of the game. I'm just, further analysis, talking out of my ass. But it has been a real issue with a lot of parts on this team. So if we can find a way to contain Dalvin Cook in that running game and we can hold him to under 100 yards, we'll be A-okay, and we'll come out here and we'll win this game. Low scoring, but we'll come out and we'll win this game. So that'll make it 3-0 on the season. So that's a dub from you officially?
Yep.
Make sure that I start AP that week, by the way. Moving on to week 4. I hope Dalvin Cook does good week 1 and week 2. Because actually, you know what? I'm starting AP week 1. Because we've got that Minnesota-New Orleans game. Yeah, we've got Minnesota-New Orleans. So I gotta sign AP. He said it himself. He's like, oh, I'm gonna stick it to him. So we'll see what happens. Moving on to week 4, 3-0 for the Buccaneers so far on both of our sides. We have got the New York Giants in Tampa at Ray J. That's going to be a 4:05 game. I'm actually going to try and go to that game because I want to go to a 4 o'clock game because they're the best. They're the best.
They are.
This has got to be top 3. It's got to be top 5 of our toughest games in the season. It's week 4. We're coming back after a hopeful win on the road. As long as we can come into this game 3-0, it's good to carry momentum. It's good to come in and see the Bucs, with a head full of steam, and I think that's the only way that we're going to be able to play and keep up with the Giants. OBJ is going to be fine and dandy by the time this game runs around, right? Like, we've already established that his sprained ankle wasn't anything too serious.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So there's going to be a lot of threats in this game. The Giants have never really given us an easy game any recent time that we played them. So I think if we come into this game 3-0 and all of our players stay on top of things, I believe that the Bucs can win this game, no doubt, and go 4-0. It'll be a close game. It will be, I don't want to say low scoring. I think it's going to come down to just how much we can utilize these weapons on offense. Adam Humphries, Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard, Cam Brate, everybody in that offensive lineup is going to come out and hopefully look to have a very, very productive day in Ray J against the Giants. but that I think we'll come out of that game with a win, and we will move to 4-0. Evan, how are you feeling about the New York Football Giants?
Well, when I said that, a lot of people picked the. I'm sorry, I gotta adjust here. Bad glare.
No problem at all. Do what you got to do, man.
When they would beat the Vikings, and many fans thought they would lose to the Vikings. Many fans also thought that they would beat the Giants. Like I've seen a lot. I've seen probably about 2 or 3 schedule predictions game by game where they have the Bucs losing to the Vikings but beating the Giants. And I'm gonna go. You're gonna beat the Vikings, but you're gonna lose to the Giants. I don't think the Bucs are gonna win this game. It's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game, but I just think that it's going to come down to Eli Manning's experience. I really do. I think that Eli's going to have a drive, probably with like 3 minutes left or so in the fourth quarter. Maybe the Bucs are up like 31-28 or so, and I think Eli's going to drive them down, score a touchdown, 35-31, something like that would be your final. But I mean, like I said, the Bucs, they're still in good shape. 3-1 is still in very good shape for the season. So there would be no need to panic after one loss to a good football team. I do think they can win this game. I agree with you. I would probably say top 4 toughest games, and I'd put this one at 4. Week 13 in Lambeau is the toughest game because it's in Lambeau and it's in December. The Packers do not lose in Lambeau in December. Obviously, the Patriots, I think, are the second toughest game. I think Atlanta on the road in Atlanta is probably the third toughest game. So, but out of those 4, I think the Bucs have the highest chance of winning against the Giants. So I could see it, but ultimately, Bucs fall to 3-1. What's your official prediction?
For this game, I'm just going to go ahead and play it safe. I'm going to say a win. I think the Bucs can come in here and surprise many. You're coming off a 3-0, and I'm not just saying this. You're coming off of a 3-0 record, 2 wins on the road, and you put on a show in Tampa. You're going to come to look back into Tampa, and you're going to look to make a statement against the team that you got to play just 4 days later, the New England Patriots, the Super Bowl champions. And we'll jump into that in just 1 second. But I'd like to see that the Bucs. I'd like to say that the Bucs can come in here and win this game. So I'll say 4-0. Evan is on 3-1 so far, but we'll check it into the live chat really quick. Dylan Vo said, "Yo, it's at Everything Bucs. What's going on, man? Hope you stick around and enjoy the stream." Sorry we aren't really checking the live stream as often as we should. It's just I got the schedule pulled up and then I got the live stream pulled up, so we'll check the chat every once in a while. But thank you guys for sticking around. Hope you enjoy. And leave us some insight, leave us some feedback, and throw your picks in there, man. We'll make sure they get read, and we will discuss them. That's the point of a live stream. It's all about doing things for the people. So we are moving on to Week 5. It is the New England Patriots coming into town just 4 days after we play the Giants. This is going to be a loss. I'll say it up front. This is going to be a loss. The Buccaneers cannot come in on a short week on a Thursday night and beat this New England football team. I'm not going to say there's no way it's going to happen, but I'm 65% sure that it's not going to happen. We have beaten New England in Raymond James before in the preseason, like 7 years ago, but, over my stepdad's head. But we are talking New England. I just don't off the short week on Thursday Night Football, which the Bucs have not been able to win on Thursday Night Football in a very long time. I wouldn't say a very long time, but past couple of years, we're going to throw those color rush uniforms on, and I don't think it's going to work out in our favor. So I see that as our first loss, and I see it taking the Bucs to 4-1. Evan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. How are you feeling about the Pats game?
Yeah, the Pats are the Pats. I have this as a loss. They're the best team in football. It's there's nothing more to really say about that. They've actually gotten better. They've gotten better in the offseason. Like they got better in the offseason. They won the Super Bowl and somehow managed to have a better roster this season than they did last season. Does the Edelman injury, does that hurt? Yeah, that hurts. But they always seem to know how to use certain guys. I think the Bucs are going to stick in this one. I think it's going to be a close game until the end. I think the Patriots will probably pull away, probably win by about 10 points or so. You're right. The Bucs actually, if they lose this game, that'd be the fourth straight year.
Fourth?
Actually, fifth straight year they have not won on Thursday Night Football.
Because I know before Color Rush we had Thursday night against Atlanta, and I don't even want to remember that game.
Yeah. And then before that one, it was Carolina in 2013. They got beat there. And then the last win was 2012 versus the Vikings. Josh Freeman was the quarterback. And that's actually when Doug Martin really started to go off. Doug Martin had a 72-yard screen pass, took it to the house. Then the next game was actually the Oakland game that he had. So that was the last time the Bucs won on Thursday Night Football. And also, week 4, we talked about the Giants, but we didn't talk about that's when Doug Martin comes back. So this offense is going to be hopefully a bit better. So
I got you. So that's going to be a loss for both of us. That will bring my prediction to 4-1 and yours to 3-2, correct?
Yep.
So we will do 4-1 and then 3-2. Let me write all this down really quick. Sorry about that. Just got to make sure we remember these things. Okay. So of us, it is 4-1 and 3-2. And we are moving on to week 6. The Buccaneers travel all the way cross country to Arizona to take on the Cardinals in Arizona at 4:05 p.m. That game is going to be on Fox. Actually, I forgot to mention the Patriots game is going to be a primetime game. It's going to be on CBS, the NFL Network, and you can also stream it on Amazon now if you're into that type of thing. I don't know anyone on the planet who really streams stuff on Amazon who loves football. But who am I to judge? Moving on to week 6 against the Arizona Cardinals. Coming off of a loss against New England. And in your case, coming off of 2 losses in a row. Regardless, this is going to be a team with a chip on its shoulder. And this is going to be a team that lost to Arizona last year. So they're going to come in there and they're going to look to prove themselves and come out and just get that win on the road. And it's going to be a good feeling, and it's going to be a team that's hungry enough to go out there and do that. All season long, they're going to look to establish the run game, and I think they're going to go in there and do that here in Arizona. They're just going to come in, and Doug Martin, he'll be back. If he's starting, he's going to go in there and he's going to run all over Arizona. It's something – I'm not saying I have a crystal ball and I see it happening, but it's just the Bucs we've seen before. This team comes in, and if they're playing pissed-off football, the Buccaneers will find a way – whether it's, I wouldn't say dirty, but the Buccaneers will find a way to scratch and claw and win that game. It'll be a close game, but I do see the Bucs coming out and winning in Arizona. So that will bring them for me to 5-1. Evan, how are you feeling about Arizona?
I agree with you, and I think this is where the fans will start to worry a little bit because it would be back-to-back losses in my predictions. And it'll be a close game loss and a loss of 10 or more points. And a lot of fans will say, well, here they go. They got off to a fast start. We thought this was going to be a good Bucs team, but apparently we were wrong. And I see this game as the starting game for them getting on a low roll here. And I think it's probably going to be the best roll they get on all year. I think they win this game in Arizona. Arizona lost Calais Campbell, lost Tony Jefferson. There's 2 big defensive pieces, and they also lost former Buck DJ Swearinger. I think that's huge. Those 3 guys. Carson Palmer's getting older now. I mean, in my opinion, if they stop David Johnson, they'll win the game. That's just my opinion. David Johnson's really, really good. If they stop him, they'll win. And it may not even be close, but I'm going to say it's going to be a close game because I still think that David Johnson is so good. You're not going to be able to contain him. So, you'll be able to contain him a bit because you're going to win, and you're going to have to contain him a bit to win. But overall, I think it's going to be probably a 3-point game, maybe a 4-point game. I think the Bucs are going to walk out and avenge that ugly loss last season. So they'll be
All right,
four
I
and
am
two.
with you there. 4-2, and I am 5-1 on the season, and we are moving into this next game. The Bucs on the road again, going to Buffalo to take on the Bills. That's going to be a 1 o'clock game, also on Fox, October the 22nd. Plain and simple, and I know that I'm on a hot streak here, but do not worry, it's not going to be all one-sided. I promise you that. But this is going to be a win. This is a Bills team that has proven that they are in a process of deconstruction. As dark as that sounds, this is a team that's of turning themselves around, like the 2-14 Bucs. Not so much a facelift, but they've just proven and they've shown that they're willing to put some good players on the line to take really big risks, and hopefully try and bring in someone that can lift this team up, not necessarily a quarterback or anyone in particular, but to bring in some key players and get rid of the talent that they already do have. So in home or in Buffalo, their home, this is going to be a win, so that'll bring it to 6-1. But don't worry, we're not going 15-1. I promise you. But I think that's a win on the road for the Buccaneers in Buffalo. Evan, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I think so. I actually thought this was going to be a close game. Now I'm sort of thinking this is going to be not close. I think this is going to be an easier game. In my opinion, this is the second easiest game for the Bucs on the schedule. Just in my opinion, I think it's the second easiest game. So, they have Tyrod Taylor, they have LaShawn McCoy, both good players, but Tyrod Taylor, he's a quarterback with limitations. He doesn't have the best accuracy. Guy has a good arm, not the best accurate quarterback. Can beat you with his legs, so the Bucs really have to play some contain. Can't let you can't let Tyrod Taylor run all over you. Shady McCoy, you have to contain him. I think they will. I don't think Buffalo's defense is that great. They trade away Ronald Darby, trade away Reggie Ragland, so there's a couple big-time starters there. So, I would say probably 14 points, 17 points. Maybe it's like 27-10 Bucs, 27-13 Bucs, something like that. I would say if this was in Tampa, I would probably go like 35-10. But since it's not in Tampa and it's in Buffalo, I think the Bucs, the number will be down just a bit. But expect a big day out, Jameis Winston. I'm 5-2, excitement growing, and a big challenge coming up, first division rival. So go ahead and get started on that one.
You did say to look out for a big game for Jameis. I wanted to say before, a game that I think is probably going to be one of our highest scoring games of the season. Be an absolute shootout in Tampa. It will be that Patriots game. The Patriots are a fast-paced offense. They come out, they put points on the board. And as you said, the Bucs will hang with them, and I think they will. I think if New England takes that game, it'll be a 10-point game or a 7-point game. It will be a 1 or 2 possession game. That's it. It will be quite the shootout. I'm looking between both of those teams at least 60 points between the two of those teams. But moving on to Week 8, both of us said it was going to be a W for the Bucs against Buffalo. Should be a big day for Jameis Winston. But moving on to Week 8, the Bucs are back in Tampa. 1 o'clock game on Fox. That is going to be Sunday, October 29th. And it will be the first division rival of the season. The Buccaneers will take on the Carolina Panthers. This is a loss. I see this as a loss. This is the Bucs' first division rival game of the season. It's a different level when you're playing a division rival. The Atlanta Falcons could be 4-12, and the Bucs could be 16-0. You go into that Week 17 game. That's not a 4-12 team you're playing. It's with division rivals, and the Bucs have come out. It's Week 8. They have a couple of wins under their belt. They're feeling great, but it's division rival. That tone really hasn't been set for the season. One thing I can say about it was last season we came out and played the Falcons Week 1. We won that game. That game set the tone for the rest of the season. That game showed us some of the better teams that we're going to be playing against. Not that New England and the Giants aren't good teams, but I think this is going to be a loss simply because Carolina is going to want that division win in Tampa since we did it to them last year in Carolina. And it'll kind of catch us by surprise. But I think this is a loss for the Bucs in Tampa against Carolina.
I have this as a win. This is actually going to be the second time that me and you have differed on predictions. I have this one as a win. The first time you said it was a win, I said it was a loss. This time you're saying it's a loss. I said it's a win. I just think the Bucs have Carolina figured it out.
This team has just never ceased to amaze me. So I'm trying to prepare for it before it actually happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Bucs fans, it's always in the back of their mind that this team could go 4-12, and they could. It's always in the back of Bucs fans' minds. I don't think it'll ever get out of there until they probably until they put together two consistently 10-plus win season, double-digit win seasons. That's when Bucs fans will then believe there's no way this team's going 4-12, something like that. But I think they got Carolina figured out. I think they have Cam Newton figured out. I think they swept them last year. Yes, the Panthers are going to be hungry to get a win. I think the Bucs' home field advantage is going to come up big here. I think they're going to be able to contain Christian McCaffrey enough. I don't think Cam Newton's going to be able to do enough as a quarterback. He's going to make 2 or 3 stupid mistakes in that game like he did last year in Tampa. I think the defense is probably going to keep the Panthers in the game because the Panthers, in my mind, do have a good defense. That's why they're my fantasy defense. But I think that this is going to be a game that the Buccaneers win, probably something like 24-17. If I had to give any sort of range of score, I think that if the Panthers, let's say the Panthers have some big injuries on defense and the Bucs are relatively healthy on offense, this game could get out of hand. I just think that the Bucs defense has Carolina figured out, and this is going to be a win for the Bucs. So I'm at 6-2, or I'm at 6-2, I believe.
Yeah, you were at 6-2. I am now at 6-2 with that loss, but I can agree with you 100% there. The Buccaneers have this Carolina offense figured out. They're going to be able to contain. Christian McCaffrey, no questions asked. I don't think that's going to be an issue heading into this game. If the game is won by Carolina, which I still feel like it could be, it's going to be won through the air. It's going to come up big in a couple of spots. A couple of other big name receivers for the Carolina Panthers that I can't really think of right now are going to come up big in some spots. It's going to come down to something. Something's going to have to give, and it's going to be that run game for Carolina because Tampa Bay will shut him down all season long. But moving on, so that's a loss for me. That's a win for you. Both of us are at 6-2. Moving on to Week 9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another division rival. They go and fly to New Orleans, and it is going to be on Fox, a 1 o'clock game. Sunday, November the 5th. Sorry, I read that a little weird. I was reading two things at the same time. That's not really good for you. The Buccaneers take on the New Orleans Saints, NFC South division rivals. I think this is going to be a win. Just plain and simple, bouncing back from that Carolina loss. The Bucs are going to look to come in on the road, prove to themselves that they're not out of the division. Not that they would be. I don't think at this point the division race is going to be super tight. I think it might be a 1 or 2 win situation. They're going to come into New Orleans, and they're going to find a way to win. If they can shut down Christian McCaffrey, they can more than shut down Adrian Peterson. The Bucs play the Saints offense every year, so it's another thing, as you said, with Carolina. They have it all figured out. They can shut down AP, and, New Orleans lost a lot of good receivers, so unless they can find someone who can really come up short, or not really come up on short notice and make some big plays through the air, other than Willie Snead, New Orleans doesn't have that many weapons over the air. The Bucs defense is going to win this game all day. So Week 9, the Bucs are winning against the New Orleans Saints. What about you, Evan? Are you there? Hello? I think he's here. I see him. Evan, you here? Hello? Can he not see me?
Yeah. I'm not sure. You're just lagging on me a little bit. It's sort of hard to
Oh,
hard to understand you. I think this game you had it as a win. I'm gonna say it's a lot. Yeah, am I there?
yeah, you're here. You're here, man. I got you. We're all caught up now, I think.
No, I can't see you.
You can't see me? Let me try something. Ba-bam. Check. 1 2 1 2 check. Check 1 2. Here's what we'll do. We will eject Evan from that call, and we will try to have him join once again. So sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. We are getting this right back up and running. Could just be some network issues. If you guys are in the live chat, let me know if you can hear me, Evan, or we'll see what that issue is. Julio put up 300 yards on Carolina's defense. I'm going to that game week 9. Michael Thomas. Yeah. Star guy, sorry about that. I didn't read your stuff until just now. Trying to get all this network nonsense figured out here. I sent a quick text to Evan and told him to try and join through the link. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if he can't join there. Where's Fulham? All right, could just be connection. He said he wasn't able to understand me. If you guys are in the chat, let me know if you can understand me. You did say to look out for a big game. Moving on to week 9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and another division rival. Everything sounds okay. Yeah, I'm sounding fine. So it could just be Evan. And the connection over there, I can hear you good. What do you think about the TJ Ward pickup? Star Guy, we talked about that earlier, man, but I think it's probably one of the best things we could have done for the secondary. I'm not 100% with cutting J.J. Wilcox. I think we probably could have cut Chris Conte, but I've never been the biggest fan of Chris Conte. But, they have an idea, and if Conte outshowed Wilcox, Wilcox was playing with the third squad on the team. So, he's playing with third team squad. It reflects his performance. And I know I'm kind of stumbling over my words here. I'm just trying to get Evan back up in here. Says I'm not allowed to join. Oh, Lord. All right. So let me try and do this here. I'll send him a fresh link. And we will get this bad boy up and running here. Sorry about this, guys. Let me get Evan back in here. We'll figure out these technical difficulties, and we will wrap up with these season predictions. I just got to figure out a way to get him in here. Let me turn my camera off so it doesn't chug on you. But we are still live, and we're still talking. We are still talking the TJ Ward pickup. I thought it was awesome. Like I left off, I thought it was the best thing we probably could have done for this young secondary. And let's see here. I'm try and resend him this link, get him a fresh link going. See if I can't invite him manually. Evan, hang in there, buddy. We're coming for you. I'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. All right. So we're still here. We're still chugging. We're still hanging in there. I'll see if we can't try and get him on here one last time. And then we will look to pick these picks back up. I am at 7-2. He is at 6-2. He didn't give his pick on New Orleans before he cut out and just went silent. So I'm thinking it could be connection issues. Go ahead and send him an invite through the email. And we'll see what happens. If you guys are sticking with us, I know patience is a virtue nowadays. Thank you guys very, very much. There it is.
Okay, let's see. All right, well, let's hope this thing works.
All right, cool. So we were picking right back up where we left off. I said we were going to win against New Orleans, and I threw it over to you, and that's when you had cut out. So how are you feeling about this New Orleans game?
A loss, unfortunately. Only because I think New Orleans always seems to play well in that dome. They're a very good home team. Always seems to have at least one good game a year against the Bucs, and I think this is going to be the game. Going to be very similar to last season. It's going to be very frustrating. The Bucs, I think they're going to have trouble stopping Breeze, but close game won't be a blowout or anything. But I have them losing this game and falling to 6-3 on the season. So it's just super tough to win that dome. Bucs did it a few years back. James Winston's first career win now, actually. But I just don't see him doing it again.
All right, so that is going to be a loss. That'll bring our records. My record for the Bucs is 7-2 so far, heading into Week 10, and Evan is at 6-3. And it'll be a win for me, a loss for Evan. But moving on to Week 10, the Buccaneers at home against the New York Jets. This is going to be a primetime game. Well, not primetime, but this is going to be a game on CBS because normally the Bucs' major affiliate is Fox. But it'll be a game on CBS. The Buccaneers taking on the New York Jets. This is going to be a win, no question. And Josh McCown is going to get smacked this year in front of his former team. He's going to get smacked by his former team. Let me clarify there. So that's a win. That brings us to 8-2. Evan, I don't even know if I should ask. Evan, that's a win, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, right.
I don't think Josh McCown's going to be starting by then. I think it's either going to be Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg. It doesn't really matter who's starting.
I would like to see him get just a few reps, though.
I don't really think that matters who's playing a quarterback, unless it's Joe Montana somehow. This Jets team is awful. If I guarantee you this. I'm not saying this will happen, but I guarantee you it will be under consideration. If the Buccaneers would go 7-9 and miss out on the playoffs and lose to that, there's going to be some changes. Because when I look at this team on paper, this Jets team is probably one of the worst teams I've ever seen in my life. They have a couple of nice rookies on defense. Jamal Adams, Marcus May. Leonard Williams, good player. Muhammad Wilkerson's good player. Sheldon Richardson, but they're not enough. In my mind, they don't have good corners. Linebackers are don't have much depth behind those stud defensive linemen and have absolutely zero offense. This is going to be a game over 30 points the Bucs will win by. Actually going to be the game I'm at. So, the Bucs will win this game pretty easily. And Jameis Winston's going to have a huge day.
All right, so a win for both of us regarding the Jets. So that brings my record to 8-2 and yours to 7-3. Sty Guy just joined in a little bit late into the stream. He said, who all do you guys have them losing to? I have the Bucs at 8-2 so far, losing to Carolina the first week they play them, week 8. And I have them losing to New England on that Thursday night game in week five. Week 5 against New England after New York. And Evan has them losing to New England. Evan has them losing to New York in that 2-game streak. And he also has them losing to New Orleans in the Dome. Because New Orleans does actually always find a way to win in that Dome. I can't even lie. I think that's the only reason they found a way to win last year when the Bucs probably could have made the playoffs, but we won't get hung up on it. So that's really just telling you how far we are. But thank you for sticking around, man. Thank you for getting involved and being a part of the stream here. Right now we are at 8-2, 7-3. Let me pull the schedule back up. I was reading the live chat. Week 12, we go to Atlanta, and we play the Falcons for the first time this year. I'm going to straight up say it. The Bucs will sweep the Falcons again this year. I believe we can sweep this Falcons team. I kind of believe we can sweep this Falcons team. Let me not get on a high horse about it. I think we can come in here into Atlanta. We can go into their house and we can win. It's all about division rivalry this year. It's all about those important victories because that's what we missed last year. And if we are on a mission, as much as the word is spread that this team is on a mission, then they're going to look to come in and win the division with an iron fist, and they're going to come in here and they're going to beat Atlanta twice. So I have got that as a win in the new, I can't say the Georgia Dome anymore, but the new stadium that serves Chick-fil-A.
But it's close.
I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to put a Chick-fil-A in there, but I'll bring the Bucs to 9-2 on the season. And Evan, your thoughts on Atlanta as they do not eat Chick-fil-A chicken, which is why I will not be going to that game. I see if Chick-fil-A was open on Sundays, I'd drive to this Atlanta game. Are you kidding me?
Oh, Chick-fil-A is so good; it'd be worth it. Well, this is gonna be a tough game. The Bucs are coming off their Week 11 bye, but Atlanta has 2 years in the Georgia Dome. First game in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, not Mercedes-Benz Superdome. That's the same. Mercedes-Benz Stadium is the Falcons. I think the Falcons are going to come out. They're going to be hungry. They're going to show that they're the best in the division. And I think the Bucs lose. It's going to be close. I think that depends on it's just going to be a bit for the Bucs to handle on the road.
Okay, so you think it's going to be a loss for the Bucs on the road?
Yes, I do. I think in 7-4, I believe.
7-4. We are differing very quickly. You've got the Bucs going 7-4. I'm at 9-2, but we are moving on here to Week 13. The Buccaneers taking on Green Bay in December at Lambeau. It's going to be a loss. There isn't much to say about it. You already summed it up earlier. The Packers do not lose in Lambeau in December. It's something that we have to – it's a harsh truth, but the Bucs are not going to win this game against Green Bay in Lambeau. It's more than likely going to be snowing. It's going to be December, and it's just going to be one of the hardest, physically and statistically, it's going to be one of the hardest games for the Bucs this season. And I don't see them winning on the road in Green Bay. Actually, a buddy of mine, my best friend Brad, his brother and his wife, they're going to be going up to that game because his wife is a Bucs fan, and his brother's wife is a Bucs fan, and his brother is a Green Bay fan. So they're driving all the way up to catch that game in Lambeau, and that will be something. Let me tell you, if they go all the way up there to see the Bucs win, but you got to be honest with ourselves here. I'm at 9-2. I'm gonna have to take them down to 9-3. I don't think the Bucs can win on the road in Lambeau.
I'm gonna go with you. Like I said, the Packers, no matter who it is,
7-5, Evan.
Yeah, no matter who it is, and Bucs fans are gonna start to get really worried here. That's another streak of back-to-back losses. I think this is the toughest part of the schedule right here. The Giants and Patriots game back to back. Patriots off a short week. It's gonna be tough, but I think this is the toughest schedule right here because I'll say it right now. I'm not saying they're going to get blown out. Have a chance to get blown out anytime this season, it's gonna be this game. They need to keep pace with the Packers, and the biggest key is to keep Rodgers off the field. Let's say Green Bay gets the ball first, goes down and scores a touchdown, it goes 3 and out, they're gonna be in trouble, and it's not gonna be a fun day. It's going to be a brutal day, and the Bucs won't even be close. They have to clock. They cannot turn the ball over. They have to be perfect in the turnover margin, and they have to get at least two turnovers out of Rodgers, which he doesn't really do at Lambeau in December. He just flicks that switch in December, and especially at Lambeau. I'm going to say this is probably the Packers are probably going to win by about 14 or so, probably 28-14, 31-17, something like that. This will be the Bucs' worst game of the season.
It's a classic rivalry. It's a shame because I grew up always hearing that, the Packers were one of our biggest rivals, and the Packers were a team that would go in there, it'd be a close game every single year, and it just hasn't been the case. And I would like to see it go back to the former glory that, the Bucs used to have against the Cheeseheads, but you're right, and the Bucs are not going to be able to get the job done in Lambeau in December, coldest time of the year. Can't do it. But that brings their record for me to 9-3. Evan is at 7-5, but we are moving on and back in sunny, hot Florida. The Buccaneers in Ray J take on the Detroit Lions, Week 14. That is going to be a win. I am at 10-3. I'd like to see it as a win. Matt Stafford is going to be coming in there. Matt Stafford just got paid. And Matt Stafford is going to be playing like Matt Stafford, who just got paid at this point in the season. This Detroit team really isn't anything special. We saw them go to the playoffs last year. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad team, but it's not going to be a team that can beat the Bucs this year. So that brings the Bucs to 10 wins, 10-3 on the season. And that'll be a win in Ray J, plain and simple.
Bucs fans can start to breathe easy a bit now. Just a bit.
Everyone takes a big collective deep breath.
Yeah, because I had the Bucs win this game. You said Matt Stafford's gonna get paid. He got paid, and then you messed up and played. No, he's gonna get played by the defense. And I think that this is gonna be a close game. It's not gonna be an easy game, that's for sure. I mean, this isn't gonna be a blowout or anything, but I look at Detroit last year, and you can only win so many close games so many times, and that's how they made the playoffs. So how I look at that is you can only win so many close games so many times. I think they won 7 or so, and they can't keep doing it. So, they've been getting down in games. They've been getting lucky. I think Tampa's luck's starting to turn this year. Tampa used to be the team that they get up, 20-10 in the fourth quarter, and something would happen to where it would give the other team a spark with maybe like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and be like, oh, here we go, and they'd end up losing the game 23-20 in overtime or something.
Yeah,
that's what Detroit did all last year. Come back. I mean, they sucked in the first 3 quarters, and I think that the Bucs can take advantage. You don't know how Detroit can be this year, but if Detroit in the first half, it's going to be important for the Bucs to come out score of 21, 21-7 maybe, 21-3, maybe like 24-7, something like that. The Bucs can come out at halftime like that. I think they'll have no problems. The only thing is that they do need to watch out. Matt Stafford is still talented. They got some weapons on offense, and they got some edge rushers on defense. They need to watch out for that. But in the end, Bucs win. Folks still very much win.
All right, so that's going to be a win for the Bucs. That will bring them to. Let me see here. What was it? 10-3. For myself,
11-3.
11-3. You are correct, and that'll bring you to 9-5, right?
8-5.
8-5. Okay. No, because that's 13 games and then 14 games. 9-5.
I just had him at 7-5.
Okay, then I'm getting ahead of myself here. 8-5.
It would be week 14, and they had the bye week.
Yeah. So 10-3 and 8-5. I have got the Bucs coming into Atlanta. That's what I did. I got ahead of myself here. Let me not screw myself up. Okay. 10-3 for me, 8-5 for you. We're coming into Atlanta. I got the Bucs winning. That's 11-3. What about you? Win or loss in Atlanta the second time around?
I think the Bucs are going to end up winning this game. Monday Night Football game in Tampa. The Bucs are going to end up winning. It's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to the last second. I think Jameis is going to have to make a good play. And I think the Bucs are going to end up winning this game. I'm just going to go through the next couple ones quick.
Yeah, of course.
And, close game, good game. Bucs win. Everybody happy. 9-5. Bucs are in the playoff race still and still in the division race.
All right. So we're moving on to week 16. That's a win, by the way, for both of us, 11-3 and 9-5. He said the Bucs are in the division race and the playoff race, which is a very, very comfortable situation. Atlanta, the Bucs go back to Carolina, and they face Carolina in Carolina. I probably said Carolina a lot the past 10 seconds, but Panthers in Carolina for week 16. And I'd like to say it's a win. That will bring the Bucs to 12-3 for me. Carolina, again, it's not going to be a super dynamically different team. It's going to be a different team on the fact that there may be more on the line. But at this point, if Carolina has the season, which I think they're going to have, and they're going to finish around third in the division, it's not going to be a super Carolina. They're going to look to stop us from the playoff rush like New Orleans did last year. But it's not going to be anything crazy from Carolina. That's going to be a win for the Bucs. I have them at 12-3. And Evan, Carolina.
Yeah, you say the Panthers are going to try to stop the Bucs from the playoff rush, and that is true. The Bucs are going to be in a good position to be able to make the playoffs. But in your prediction scenario, even if the Bucs would lose in your prediction scenario, there's not much they can do. If the Bucs get to 11 wins before Week 17, they're making the playoffs. 11 wins definitely get you in the playoffs. 10-6 should get you in the playoffs. 9-7 might get you in the playoffs. 11 wins definitely get you in the playoffs. So if they are 11-3 before that game, they're in the playoffs, no doubt. Unless the NFC just goes on a tear and teams like the Cardinals, Giants, Cowboys, unless those sort of teams, maybe even Carolina bounces back. Unless those sort of teams step up, if they're 11-3 before that game, they're in the playoffs. I'm going to say this is a loss for the Bucs. Make them 0-2 on Christmas Eve, which isn't good for the holiday. Christmas was dampened a little bit for me last year, knowing that my Bucs had almost zero chance to make the playoffs, and that was the game. That was essentially, you could say, okay, well, the Bucs got knocked out because of this. They could have still made the playoffs mathematically. Yeah. However, we all know what the real reason was. It was because they lost that game. If they would have won that game, they would have beat Carolina, and they would be 10-6 in the playoffs. It's simple.
I got you.
And They would have gone to Seattle and played the Seahawks, who they beat. Now, obviously, in Seattle, it would be a different game, but this is a good Carolina team. It's not a great Carolina team. It's going to be another close game, probably a lower scoring game because the weather in Carolina may not be the best. It's going to be a little cold.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little on the colder side. I think the Bucs are going to get a big lump of coal for Christmas this year on Christmas Eve, and they're going to fall to 9-6. And really, it's going to come down to the last game, and I'm going to build up the suspense that way.
All right, man. So we're talking about the last game. The Bucs take on. We wrap up 3 weeks in a row of division rivals, and Week 17 is going to be New Orleans. It is going to be a home game in Tampa, and that's a loss. It's a loss because every year the Buccaneers have a division game that just kind of catches us off guard, or a game that we don't expect to lose, or even a game we don't expect to win. This is a game that I think New Orleans is going to come in, and again, it's a team that has a chip on its shoulder. It's Week 17, and if you can do whatever you can to hinder the chance of another team, not that if the Bucs have 11 wins at this point, they're in the playoff. Regardless, if you can put a loss on that record, you will. You'll find a will and a way. If you got to be sad, then everyone's got to be sad about their team. So I think New Orleans is going to come into Tampa, and I think New Orleans is going to win in Tampa for Week 17 and leave us going home sad. But the Bucs will finish 12-4 on the season. 12-4 on the season. I'm very comfortable saying that the Bucs will finish 12-4 and losing to some good teams, mind you. Losing to Green Bay, losing to the Patriots, losing to Carolina, and losing to New Orleans. Lose to 2 division rivals and lose to 2 teams that just outplayed us. I don't think there's any other team on our schedule, Bulls and Green Bay and New England, that can simply outplay the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. That's why I have them finishing 12-4. Now, Evan, you had said there was a sense of suspense. Let me take a breath here for a minute. A sense of suspense with your pick. Week 17. I know you got to get out of here. You have that fantasy draft coming up. What's your pick, buddy?
I'm going to take a bit of time on this one. I got some time here before my draft.
God. All right, he's going to wait about 20 minutes for his answer, so let me turn the mic off, and we'll take a quick commercial break.
I want to ask you. yeah, for our sponsor. Anyway, you said 12-4. I want to ask you a question first. 12-4, does that get them the division?
I think 12-4 gets them the division by 1 game. 1 or 2 games.
You think Atlanta goes 11-5?
Yes, I think Atlanta will be right behind us the whole season.
I think Atlanta goes 11-5 too, and the Bucs sitting at 9-6. Unfortunately, can't get to the division. Unfortunately, the Panthers' loss really dampened that mood, really hindered that, I guess you could say. Win the division. Atlanta 11-5. Saints are about mediocre. Panthers are about mediocre. This game's at home, and Drew Brees used to have very good games against the Bucs both times. The Saints are not going to be easy. That's not. It seems to me.
I got my pen ready. I'm ready to write it down. I've been keeping track right here.
Yeah, you gotta wait probably about. Let's see. I got. Okay. Yeah, we got about a half hour. I'll draw it to about my draft's at 9:14. I'll give you the answer and head out. No. Anyway, I'll get that.
Man.
I'll get to it in a second. Drew Brees always seems to have a good game against the Bucs. Saints aren't an easy team. They're a good team. Improved. They have improved. This game is going to rely on the health of the Bucs. If the Bucs are dinged up, are losing some key guys, it's gonna be tough. It really is. If the Bucs are not Gerald McCoy or without Brent Grimes or Vernon Hargreaves or Quan Alexander, Levante David, or a guy like Ali Marpet on the offensive side of the ball, without a guy like Cameron Brate, because O.J. Howard can do it, but who's the other tight end, So that really changes the offense. However, Jameis Winston will not let his team lose in the biggest game. The Bucs are going to win this game. Bucs are going to win this game, go 10-6, and they're going to make the playoffs.
Are they going to make the wild card?
Yeah, they're gonna make the 6th seed wild card, and they're probably gonna go on the road and face the Giants, maybe. Yeah, but they might face the Giants, who are the 3 seed. I think the Falcons are gonna be the 2 seed, Packers being the 1, Giants being the 3, Seahawks being the 4. So they'll be the 6th seed, go to MetLife, face the Giants.
What do you think? What do you think the Pats are going to end up?
Pats, they'll be 15-1 and 14-2. They'll be the number 1 seed. Pittsburgh will probably be
You were talking NFC. My bad. I didn't even think about AFC.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, like I said, Bucs 10-6. I think that this team is ready. I think Jameis Winston will understand how big this game is, and even if there are some guys missing, which God forbid there isn't, because they would have a playoff game the next week. He'll will his team to a victory. Now, it's going to be a very close game, and it's going to come down to the wire. And the dream scenario for me, I'm not sure what I would like more. I'm not sure if I would like maybe the Saints driving down the field. Maybe they're down 24-20, and they're driving down the field, and the Saints have the ball. 4th and goal on the 5-yard line, and
something that really comes down to the nitty gritty.
And there's about maybe 5 seconds left, and the Saints need a touchdown to win. If they don't convert, Bucs win, go to the playoffs, and a guy like Quan Alexander comes up with a pick in the end zone, or, which I think a lot of Bucs fans would like more, the Bucs are down 24-20 or so, and with about 5 seconds left, Jameis Winston on the goal line, 5-yard line. Jameis Winston, you can always hear Gene Deckerhoff saying it. Jameis Winston rolling out, looking, firing Mike Evans, touchdown Tampa Bay.
Fire the cannons.
Yeah, there you go. Zeros on the clock. Jameis to Mike Evans, touchdown. Bucs win.
Oh, what a way to cap the season.
And get into the playoffs that way. I'm sure many fans would like it that way. I'm sort of a big turnover guy. I'm a big interception guy. But I would honestly prefer the Jameis way, just because this is Jameis's team, and that would be like his career-defining moment until, of course, hopefully he wins the Super Bowl. That would be the biggest.
Well, you said this year no Pro Bowl, for any of our guys this year, going straight to the Super Bowl. You can't play in the Pro Bowl if you're playing in the Super Bowl. So that's the way we got to look at it this year.
That quote thing, by the way.
Huh?
Yeah, you're not playing in the Pro Bowl this year. So, like I said, I sent you that post. Adam Rank, NFL Network, has the Patriots beating the Bucs in the Super Bowl. I said, even though they're going to get beat, I told you there's no Pro Bowl. I don't care if Jameis Winston throws 40 touchdowns, 2 picks, and over 5,000 yards. That's a Pro Bowl season. Yes, there's no Pro Bowl because he's getting prepped to beat Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Belichick does best, and Jameis is going to outsmart him.
No, I feel you 100% there.
So, like I said, they're going to go to the playoffs, going to face the Giants probably, or Seahawks. I see either one of those teams they'll be facing, because I think the Giants end up winning the division, especially with Zeke's suspension. And it's a successful season, and they're going to continue to build on it. I think the course for this team, now a lot can change. A whole lot can change. Playoffs this year. I'm going to be real here. Playoffs this year, out first round. It is what it is. It will be a close game. Bucs will be in it. Young team, first time in the playoffs. It's not easy. Will not be easy. The best Bucs teams in '99 and '97, and if they didn't win, right away, they got eliminated first round, second round. I don't think they only made it to the NFC Championship once. Honestly, they should have won that game, but.
That's the game I got on behind me, actually. Not the NFC Championship, but when the Bucs played the Rams the year after the NFC Championship.
I see it. I see it. I actually saw during the broadcast we were doing. I saw Sean King in the background. I was like, is that him? Anyways, were they on a goal line?
Yeah, they were on the. Yeah, They were on the goal line, tried to get it to Jaravicius for the touchdown, but couldn't get it. Fell incomplete. But yeah, dude, I love watching these old games so much. I always put them on right before we do the show. They put me in the mood.
Anyways, yeah, like I said, I think wild card this year, out in the first round. Next year, I think they win a division, go about 11-5, 12-4, win a division. I'm gonna say out second round. I'm gonna say that if they get a first round bye, they'll make it to the championship game. But if they don't, not the Super Bowl, NFC championship game.
Right.
Let's say they do go 11-5, win a division. Falcons, 10-6 or whatever, get wild card. Beating whoever they play in the first round, the Bucs, with the home field advantage, and then losing in the second round to one of the top seeds, which will probably be the Packers or Seahawks, maybe the Cowboys. But and then the next year, it's going to be a slow process. Next year, loss in the NFC Championship game. The next year,
and then we'll win the Super Bowl.
And win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, then so that's okay. Let's see. We got this year out in first round. Next year out second round. Year after that out NFC Championship. 4 years you're looking at, and I think that's very realistic.
It's a 4-year plan.
I think it's very realistic.
It's how it's supposed to work, man.
I mean, you're not gonna, you can't, you can't walk before you crawl. You know what I mean?
Can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. You know what I mean? You really gotta mold it. You gotta make sure this is what you need before you just go 100 miles an hour. And I think the Bucs are closer than, I don't want to say because they've ever been, because we have won the Super Bowl before, but this is the closest the Bucs have been in a very, very long time to really making a run for it.
Probably about 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, in 2010, there wasn't. I mean, I'll admit, I wasn't following the Bucs much at all in 2010. Actually.
Oh, 2010, I had season tickets, man. It was all about every game. Josh Freeman, everyone coming out cheering for that man. He was a beast.
Picks.
Huh?
25 touchdowns, 6 picks on that year. Yeah. Anyways, but I mean, I don't really remember. There wasn't actually a little not so fun fact. When I started liking the Bucs, when they started sucking, so you can blame me. I don't really care. I wasn't watching the Bucs, and they went 10-6. I started watching them the next year, and they went 4-12. So
yeah,
you can blame it on me. I don't care. But in 2010, there wasn't even that much hype around them, was there?
A little bit. It would be the feature on Fox NFL. They'd interview Josh Freeman or something like that. I remember there was a little bit of hype around LeGarrette Blount once he really burst onto the scene and started making some plays. But no, this wasn't a hyped up team, especially not as hyped up as the Bucs are right now. The Bucs are getting a lot of attention right now, and
the attention is scary. I mean, you want to live up to the expectations of everybody, so the attention is definitely scary. But I think that they just got to come out and take care of business, and it'll work itself out.
Oh yeah, for sure. But really quick, we'll take a look at the live chat. We will discuss some of the records in the comments, and then we will wrap up the show because I know you got to get going here pretty soon. You got a good 20 minutes though, so we'll probably. I was going to jump on Xbox anyways, watch the rest of this game, so we'll probably do about 5 more minutes. Sty Guy stuck around for like the majority of the stream. Thank you so much, man. Sty Guy said he has the Bucs going 11-5. He believes that 10-6 wins the NFC South this year, and the Falcons will play the Seahawks, the Packers, Cowboys, and Patriots, and we will win the division if we can secure 10 games. I think it's pretty solid. I think anywhere around there, I think 10-6 could win the division, but I really don't see Atlanta winning. I don't see Atlanta going 9-7. Atlanta is not a 9-7 team. We have to accept that. Atlanta might be on a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover, but they are not a 9-7 team. So that's.
I will say this though. I do want to add this. I think that Atlanta has this season and next season. I think after that, I think their window's going to close because of what I think's going to happen.
A Carolina situation, you think?
Well, what do you mean? Like,
well, because I know Carolina came out after Carolina had a pretty decent season after the Super Bowl, did they not? Or, unless I just do not remember.
After their Super Bowl loss?
No. Yeah.
After they lost the Super Bowl? No, they went 6-10. That was last season.
God. Okay. All right.
They went from 15-1 to 6-10.
Okay. My bad.
Anyways, like I said, I think the Falcons will experience a bit of Super Bowl hangover, but I think the record will stay the same. I think 11-5 for the Falcons. However, you will experience some regression out of that offense. Just a little bit of regression. However, I think the Falcons are going to be good this year, and they're going to be good next year. I think after that, I think that the Falcons are going to run out of time because I think Matt Ryan is going to be slowly getting out of his prime, and Julio Jones is still going to be a good wide receiver, great wide receiver. Their defense, I think, is going to be good, very good, with Deion Jones, Devondre Campbell, Vic Beasley, those type of guys, Keanu Neal,
Vic. I got to make a side comment really quick. Vic Beasley got stiffed in Madden this year. His rating, what did they give him, like an 81, 82?
I had no clue. Really?
I know they got him pretty hard on the Madden rating this year.
Well, anyway, like I said, I think after these next two seasons, I think the Falcons go 11-5, while the Bucs go 10-6, and I think next year the Falcons go 10-6, while the Bucs go 11-5. And then I think after that, the Falcons go 9-7. And then 9-7 again, and then probably like 6-10, and then that's when they'll start their rebuild. I think the Falcons are running out of time. I think the Saints are actually running out. This is a good time to be a Bucs fan in the division. Good time for the Bucs. They can
great
dominate.
time.
I'll tell you this right now. With their only threat in the next 4 years. 4 years from now, their biggest threat will be the Panthers. 4 years from now, Drew Brees, if he is playing, he'll be playing on his last leg, and Matt Ryan will be doing the same. The Saints, they're going to have a good defense, but their offense is going to suck. Same with the Falcons, I think, eventually. So I think the Buccaneers, I'll make a prediction here. When the Buccaneers win the NFC South, I'm not saying that's this year, I'm not saying that's next year, I'm just saying when it happens, it could be. They will win it 4 years straight. 4 years straight. 4 seasons.
4 seasons straight. What you think we'll run it for 4 years?
4 years. And then I think a team like maybe the Saints or Panthers or maybe even Falcons will get enough young talent and maybe be – I don't –
You still there? Your audio cut out. Audio and video cut out. All right. So we got Evan not making any noise. He froze. He's still on the call with us. He didn't drop out of the call this time. But he did freeze once again. But ladies and gentlemen, we were just wrapping up anyways. He was talking about the Bucs going to come out, and he totally does make a point. If it doesn't happen this year, the Buccaneers will slowly but surely just come out, and when the Bucs do win the division, they will run the division, as Evan was saying. But I know he does have a fantasy draft he has to catch up in about 10 minutes. So we will go over the live chat one last time. Sty Guy had said Cadillac Williams in 2010 was supposed to be the man. Cadillac and Williams in 2010 got hurt. That's why LeGarrette Blount came out and shined the way he did. I was at that game too, man. He came out. I don't remember who we were playing, to be honest. But I do remember that he had come out, and Cadillac Williams broke on like a 30-yard run, got pushed out of bounds, and then got hurt. I think it was his ankle or his knee. And then LeGarrette Blount came in, and he had a pretty strong finish the rest of that game. But the next few weeks, that dude just blew up. And that 2010 season, man, for season ticket holders, that was a good season for us. I loved it. We had friends all sitting around us. Everyone was a regular at the game. It's the best part about the Bucs games, especially once you get to be friends with them season ticket holders. Max Malaya did say 11-5, lose to the Seahawks in the NFC Championship. If we go 11-5 this year, I don't think we're going to go to the NFC Championship. I think we're going to get knocked out first round, but I would like to see the Bucs in the NFC Championship next year. And I think if we do take this time to condition and put ourselves in the NFC Championship picture next year, we have a very, very strong chance of going on and, playing a very good game of football in the Super Bowl. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out the Cannon Fire Podcast season predictions. Just to go around the picks again, Rhett, had the team going 12-4. Evan did have the team finishing 10-6. I have the team 12-4 winning the division. Evan had them getting that wild card. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys, Max Malaya, Sty Guy, everyone else who stopped around, Dylan Vo at Everything Bucs, Douglas Herrick Jr. Thank you guys so much for hanging out in the stream. It's a pleasure to have you guys here. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and leave a thumbs up. I don't know why I threw the thumb up there. I just felt it was necessary. Subscribe on iTunes, as it says right here. This is a little overlay, so if that was a little awkward too, don't even worry about it. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Really, really do appreciate it and all the feedback that we can get in the world. So we are just going to wrap things up here. And signing off for Evan, I am Rhett, guys. We will see you next time. Remember, Atlanta led by 25, and Go Bucs. Have a good night, guys.